Texas back?
But I plan to make well over 1,000. I don't plan on going to sleep tonight.
I'm going to go 71 to 68. UNC versus Kansas.
Why did that get bring up? Why are we doing that?
Wusui, Pig Sui.
I would disagree with the hot hand part because, like I said, Longwood's won 19 of their last 20.
I hope it's not close. I hope Texas gets destroyed.
I think because I would have San Diego State in this matchup, I have to go UConn.
Texas friends, feel free to DM me on the Twitter, which you don't know, and that's for good reason.
Hey y'all, my name is Riley Dutcher, and I'm smarter than all you guys because I won Outsiders Opinion's second bracket challenge. Now back to Austin and Kevin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our March Madness opinions of the week. We are back at it again. Very quickly, we gave you an update on just kind of the expectations for this March from our channel. One, we got another fun video, Austin, and I will make an excuse for myself. I'm not great at watching the games prior to March Madness, but I have started the idea of recording games and that I can watch it just to see how teams do, even if I know the result before. Still figuring out when I watch them because I can't stay up too late. But Austin has, not just for me, but teams we should watch this March.
Yeah. Look, Jake and I always Jake, our March Madness expert. He's better than me, but we're always big into March Madness. It's my favorite time of the year. I've always said March is my favorite sports month of the year, every single year, bar none. We have spring training baseball. We have the NBA and NHL starting to heat up, and we have the best tournament in the world, in my opinion. You could argue World Cup, but I've always said this. It's the best competition that happens every year. Every year. It's the best competition. I love Olympic hockey too, but it is, again, every year this happens, and it's my favorite thing, my yearly tradition in sports. So I'm going to give y'all 16 teams. They're going to be a little bit of different tiers. We do 16 because – if you know, a bracket, one side, a region, either East, Midwest, West, or South, has 16 teams in it. And now this is not going to be like 1 seed, 1 2 seed, 1 3 seed. I'm going to give you clear championship contenders. I'm going to give you run the Final Four contenders. I'm going to give you the mid-majors that could make a Final Four. I'm going to give you the mid-majors that could upset. So these are teams that I think could go on a run. All these teams are either the lowest, maybe a 13 seed, but I don't think any of these teams will be below a 13 seed. So these are teams that you should watch. We'll go first with the clear title contenders. If you're going to make a perfect bracket, you got to get your championship correct. And to get your champion correct, that team has to win all those games. So that's a lot of games. There's 6 rounds. So 6 games correct for picking your champion. These are my 4 title contenders. At the moment, I believe the champion is in these 4. Michigan, Duke, Houston, or Arizona. I think those 4 teams are must watch. If you want to get a perfect bracket, obviously that's the goal. But I think every year, the goal for everybody should be to predict the champion. I think that's the realistic goal everybody who really likes March Madness, who's into it, should have. That's my goal every year, is to pick the correct champion. Yes, I want a perfect bracket. Yes, I want to pick all the upsets. But picking the champion, I think, is what gives me the most joy of March Madness. Because I'm like, I knew that team was a championship contender.
Yeah, talk about some teams. I'm going to watch the Arizona game. I watched most of the Duke game, but a lot of what I've been hearing about Duke is it's also incredible. It's rare when you get a coach retire like Coach K from Duke that made Duke what it was. And you have a guy that's keeping that status quo. And all I've been hearing about is John Shire and what he has done schematically and tactician-wise with this Duke team.
He's a genius, just like Coach K was and is. And I totally expect Duke to be a title contender this year. They beat Michigan on neutral site. Sure, there was some foul calls that I have a lot of friends that are Michigan fans that didn't love. And I do think Michigan, even with LJK Son tearing his ACL, I still believe they're a title contender. But they're a team that has great rebounding, great scoring, great defense. And I think that's what you need to have a championship contending team. Arizona, they've been a team I bet on in the past. And Jake and I have talked about it. He likes Arizona. And I do think they're a title contender. But I bet on them in the past. If the year they had Benedict Mathurin and they lost to Houston, which was 2022, I thought they were the best team in the country. if not the second best team in the country. And that didn't obviously come to be. They lost in the Sweet 16 to Houston. So I believe that this year Arizona is a title contender. We'll move into these teams can go on a Final Four run. These teams are very, very talented, and these are usually all these teams are within 3 to 7 seeds that I'm about to mention. We have Kansas, Arkansas, Louisville, and St. Louis. All of these teams, St. Louis is a mid-major, but they are a 7 seed to 6 seed, and they are extremely, extremely talented. Their ability on offense is matched by only a few teams. I think everybody has to watch them. It's a fun watch. Robbie Avila, if you remember him from a couple years ago at Indiana State, St. Louis is here. Arkansas, they had one of the best freshmen, if not the best freshman in the country, in my opinion. I know that you may not say he's better than AJ DeBancer or Cam Boozer or Darren Peterson when he's playing the entire game, but Darius Acuff can do anything on the court, playmaking-wise, and he's a great, great talent. Louisville, they've been extremely competitive in the ACC, and they've won a lot of big games. I expect them to be a team that can go on a run. They have a lot of guys that are a little bit older, and that's important in March. And then you have Kansas. Now, we don't necessarily know what's going to happen with Darren Peterson. Is he going to want to play the entirety of the game in all these games? Because they're not going to lose round 1 if he plays. They're not going to lose round 2 if he plays. It's really a bigger question of when is he going to decide that it's important for him to seek an NBA, like don't play because the NBA is going to want me sort of thing. Don't get hurt. Don't get hurt. Don't get hurt. If you remember all the way back, you won't. But Kyrie only played 10 games in his college career, but it included him coming back for the tournament and playing extremely well, including a lot of points in the game they eventually lost in the tournament. But I think playing in the tournament shows NBA teams that you care about winning, and I expect Darren Peterson to play. So those are the 4 teams that I put in that range. Next, these are teams that are kind of on the bubble, but are, I think, those 10, 11 seeds that could go on a run, and teams that I think are underrated in a lot of the respects because they are sort of we see them and we're like, are they truly this good when it matters? And I think that is it's important to get teams that could go on a run because they are going to potentially be the ones that upset a high overall seed. So Miami right now is one of my teams that I have on that range. Not Miami, Ohio, Miami. I really like Miami this year. Right now they're projected as an 8 seed. Miami's a fun watch. There's a lot of – I have 3 ACC teams on here, right? Yeah, 3 ACC teams. The ACC is good this year. It's not as good as it was back in 2016, 2017, 2018, but it's good. Miami's a team to watch. TCU has high highs and low lows. They could lose to anybody in the country. They could beat anyone in the country. And teams that could beat anyone in the country are really fun to watch. I do think they'll make the tournament. And if they do, I could see them going on a run because, like I said, they could beat anybody in the country. They have very impressive wins. And they stuck close with a team like Michigan early in the year. My next team is Santa Clara. They're a team out of WCC. WCC has 3 teams I think will make the tournament: Gonzaga, St. Mary's, and then Santa Clara. Santa Clara is a team that they have proven guys on their roster, and they could go on a run as well. They're going to be an at-large team most likely, and I think they will make the tournament. And then my last team that is in that range is Miami, Ohio. We don't know Miami, Ohio will make or win the conference championship. I do think they will make it as an at-large team if they don't win the conference championship, and that's a team that I will put in this tier. They're 29-0, and while they have had some bad games where they haven't played their absolute best, they're 29-0. Teams like we saw the Bruce Pearl conversation. I know we talked about this, but Bruce Pearl just wants his son to make the tournament. I think that Miami, Ohio could go 15-14 like Auburn has. I think they could go with the record that they have. There's some bad losses in there, and I know they have 5 quad 1 wins, and that is impressive. But if you don't win some of these games that you should be winning against Oklahoma, against some of these other teams, I don't think you deserve to make it. So I think everybody should watch Miami, Ohio. Now we have the 4 teams. These are the teams that are the upset Cinderella teams. While sure, you may consider Miami, Ohio, or Santa Clara a Cinderella team, or even TCU or Miami if they're a double-digit seed. These are the teams that need to win their conference tournament to get in the tournament. So I don't think these teams without winning their conference tournament will get in. And that is Yale, USF, Belmont, and Liberty. These are extremely talented teams. I think USF could go to the Final Four given the right track. All these teams I think that I mentioned, all 16, I think could make an Elite Eight run. Even Yale, even Liberty, even Belmont. I think all these guys you should watch. And I have a lot of fun watching mid-major or even low-major basketball. And I think these teams are in an echelon where I think sometimes when you're in a Power 5 conference, whether that's Big East, Big 10, Big 12, ACC, SEC, you kind of get crowded out by the noise and you don't really understand how good some of these other teams are. If you're only watching Power 5 basketball, you're missing out a lot of the best teams in the sport and teams that could go on a long run. SEC teams play a lot of the same way. Big 10 teams play a lot of the same way because of where they are in the country and because of what they know they need to do to win against these teams. The Big 10 is a lot more like if you watch Michigan State, they're a little bit slower on offense. The SEC is struggling on defense this year, but a high scoring clip. They score a lot of points. All these conferences kind of mesh into becoming very similar to each other in play style. That's why some of these teams, though, whether it's Miami, Ohio, Yale, Belmont, could go on a deep run because they don't play like all these other teams do, but they're extremely good at what they do best. So, again, I'll go through all 16 one more time. We have your title contenders in Michigan, Duke, Houston, and Arizona. Right now, as we're recording, I believe a champion is out of those 4 teams. Then we have Kansas, Arkansas, Louisville, St. Louis. I wouldn't be surprised if any of those 4 teams make a title appearance, but I don't know if I necessarily see them in that upper echelon, but they are must-watch. I think at least one of those teams will make a very deep run. Then Miami, TCU, Santa Clara, and Miami, Ohio. These are the 8 seed to 11 seed, 12 seed teams that will make an at-large bid if necessary, and I think could go on a run based on how they're built. And then these 4 teams are teams that have to win their conference tournament to be in, but if they do, they are dangerous. And that is USF, Yale, Belmont, and Liberty.
All right, that is quite a list. And as you were explaining it, I remember here in Arkansas, Texas plays at Arkansas Wednesday, which will be tomorrow as we are recording. And then there's also I have set to record the St. Louis Loyola Chicago at St. Louis. So those are some of the games I'm going to be watching. And then next week you have conference tournaments. So I'm going to try to watch more of that as I get into it. But I think that's going to be a great list. And I will let you know next time I see you what we think. And make sure you're following us along. Austin, I'll let you close this one out.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening. Please let us know if there's any team we failed to mention. I didn't want to include the entire field. Sure, there'll be some 1 seed, 2 seed, 3 seeds I didn't mention. That doesn't mean those teams can't go on a run, but these are the teams that are the most excited to me, the teams I like to watch. I've watched a lot of college basketball this year, and these are the teams that I feel the most confident that I would want to watch if I was a casual fan, because these teams have a lot of great games and do show out for their fans. So thank you guys for watching, and please let us know what you want to see.